Air National Guard had started in 1906 and has been up and running to this day. Currently, there are over 105,000 active troops in the National Air Guard. The National Air Guard had played their role in 9 major wars, including the Cold War and the Vietnam War. Gilmore Broughton, my papa, had served 31 years and 5 months in the military and Air Force combined. Later, I had asked my papa about the time in his war, when he had said,
Um, so during the time you were in the Army or like the Air Guards, were there any wars going on? And if so, were you ever deployed?
There was, I was in, there was a Desert Storm was on, an Iraqi war, and Afghanistan. But I was close to getting deployed, but I didn't get to go because they fulfilled the roster.
Papa was first enlisted in the war when he was 17 years old. He said that he never really liked school that much and that his parents were always really supportive of him going into the military at such a young age. It kind of runs in the family in a way, because when I asked him if any of his siblings had ever been involved in the military, he had said,
Yeah, my brother Truman, he was in the Air Force 4 years. My brother Clayton, he was in the National Guard for 8 years. And my brother Ray was in the Navy.
Wow! Man, that's pretty crazy that Papa and all of his brothers chose to serve in the military. You know, I just really don't hear about or see that much anymore in today's society. So, as I said earlier, he had served in the military for a combined total of around 32 years. I asked him what his rank started out as when he first joined the military and how exactly they were able to rank up.
Like, what did you start at going into the military? Like, what's like the first initial rank that you get?
I was a private E1. And after your basic, you get private E2. Then if you're a good soldier and do your job, you get a PFC stripe. And then from there on, it's just you got to take tests to make sure you're qualified to do the job. And they award you more rank as you go.
So what kind of things were on those tests? Like, what qualifies you to be, like, for example, what you were?
Well, I had to take tests for management, managing people, and what your job description was,
Yeah.
Everything in your job, you had to be able to answer all the questions and know your job real good.
In the United States Army, recruits usually enter service as a private and pay grade E1, which is like basic level training. Private E2 is the next class, is typically an automatic promotion after 6 months of service. A PFC stripe signifies private first class. After the PFC stripe, like Papa said, there are many more obtainable insignias that one is able to go after. Later, I asked my grandpa what his title was when he was in the military.
I was a master sergeant, and I was a heavy equipment wheel mobile mechanic.
Wait, what does that mean?
Well, I worked on everything that had wheels,
Oh, yeah, okay.
that like fire trucks and snow equipment and airplane tuggers and stuff like that.
My grandpa was a master sergeant, which was in the E8 class. After serving in the military for 32 years, it seems reasonable that he was of a prestigious rank. Papa never actually served in a war, as crazy as that may seem. I asked him of how people were selected when in the Marines and how they were picked to be deployed.
Your training depends on your MOS AFC. That's your job description. If they needed 100 guys in a job description, they just call up and say, "Hey, you're on."
Yeah. So it wasn't ever really your choice if you wanted to go or not, it was theirs?
It was their choice, yeah. When you signed on that line, it belonged to somebody else. Yeah.
I asked Papa how he would feel if my brother Max and I were to join the military. He, of course, loved the idea. He said that there are a lot more opportunities for younger people joining the military in today's world. He said that there are lots of differences in both the way the military helps financially as well as the quality of life when living away from home.
Well, the pay is different. When I went in, it was $78 a month. Now, somebody going in now, it's over $1,200 a month.
Wow.
And the food is better, and the housing is better, and clothing allowance is better, and everything's a lot better.
Yeah. What was the food and the housing like back then?
The housing, we lived in barracks, two-story barracks. They're about, 75 feet long, and there's bunk beds upper and down, upstairs and downstairs, or upper and lower bunks. I suppose there's probably, I don't know, there are 30, 40, 50 guys in the building, I suppose.
In today's military, housing varies on the rank that you are, where the base is located, and your family situation. New recruits usually start their military careers living on base. During basic training, men and women live in separate quarters known as barracks, which consist of shared bunks and bathroom facilities, which is basically what my papa was trying to explain. Everything happens on a set schedule. As you move up your rank, you get better housing options to choose from if they are available. Living on a military base nowadays is actually really nice and comparable to that of a town. There are post offices, shopping centers, doctors, dentists, and other businesses. Growing up, my grandpa got a feel for the way America viewed their military and how patriotic we were as a nation. World War II was going on throughout his childhood. Here is Papa talking about the draft.
Yeah, during Vietnam, yeah, there was. There was a draft when I was when I was young too. But they quit the draft after Vietnam. I think President Johnson stopped it.
Okay.
Quit the
How do you
draft.
feel about that? Did you think it was good to have the draft, or do you think it's better without it now?
I think it was a good idea because everybody would serve then for 2 years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'd get out and they'd have full benefits of everything.
Yeah.
They could go to school on the GI Bill and stuff like that.
The GI Bill is a law that provides benefits for returning veterans. Benefits may include low-cost mortgages, low-interest loans to start a business, cash payments of tuition and living expenses to attend a university, and 1 year of unemployment compensation. This GI Bill is available to veterans who had been on active duty during the war years for at least 120 days, and combat was not required. What my papa is talking about is a draft that was used to pick men to fill vacancies in the armed forces which could not be filled through voluntary means. The draft lasted from 1940 until 1973, during both peacetime and periods of conflict. Under increasing pressure, Congress discontinued the draft in 1973. Although the draft had come to an end, there was a new system. It is now called the Selective Service System, and it still exists as a backup for the military in case of emergency. This is for men between the ages of 18 and 25 years old. They are required to register so that a draft can be readily resumed if needed. All in all, military life back then and now are fairly similar, and it was interesting to see the kind of experience my grandpa had while serving in the military for so long. Thank you for listening to my grandpa and I talk to you for so long. Hope you all have an awesome summer.